episode of Life with Retta. It's your girl Retta, where we will talk about the good, the bad, and the downright weird as it comes to solo traveling. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the cost. How much it costs for me to visit Peru. So we're going to break down the accommodations. We're going to break down the transportation. We're going to break down the food. We're going to break down the tours and just experiences. So I really want to give you guys an idea of the time spent. I spent almost 2.5. I did about 2.5 months there. I was supposed to do a full 90, but I did about 2.5 months there because I had to come back a little early to celebrate my brother's retirement, which I absolutely love. So I could not miss that. But I want to let you know that anyone can do it. And my tip of the day, I want people to know that you can do it. And Peru is actually very affordable. I did this while working remotely. So for my tip is, when you are slow traveling, you can afford to do a lot of things on your own. And I want you to remember that your trip is your trip. It is not anyone else's. So there might be recommendations or things that other people might want to do, but just know that your trip is your trip. And please accomplish everything you want on your trip and within your pockets. So the numbers I might give, some people will be like, oh my God, I would have spent more, or I would have done more. For me, I did everything I wanted to do when in Peru. And my number one thing that I wanted to do was to have one of the best culinary experiences of my life. So let's take it away. Let's talk about the number one thing, which is accommodation. So I stayed in Lima. So the neighborhood I stayed in Lima, I did Barranco. I stayed in the historic district, and then I stayed in Miraflores. And those three actually became, I would say, pretty affordable. So my first Airbnb, I have my notes here, cost me my first Airbnb cost me $535, and I stayed there for 3 weeks. $535.90. Sorry, I need to correct that. $535.90. When I stayed at the Sheraton, I stayed for 1 week. It cost me, I did, so at the Sheraton, I did 2 different stays. So I booked it for a few days, which was $556.60, and then I booked it for another 10 days, 9 or 10 days, and that was $750.04. So I spent close to $1,300 for that. And when I came back in Miraflores, I stayed at the Marriott Hotel, and I did all points for that. I can tell you really saved some coin because the hotels can get quite expensive. Staying in. Next, my accommodation was in Cusco. I forgot to add something. So this was my hotel at the Cusco Marriott. And when I tell you, it was absolutely gorgeous. If you get an opportunity to stay in Cusco, please stay at the Marriott Cusco. It is absolutely gorgeous. I was upgraded, so this is one of the upgraded rooms. And it was a beautiful thing being able to use points to stay here. Again, one of the perks of being loyal to a particular brand. I was in a mini apartment for a few days, and I was grateful that I spent a few days here. I was in the middle of the city, and when I tell you, the level of service is yummy. If you need assistance with oxygen, that's free. Like the amenities, their spa is absolutely phenomenal. So I really enjoyed the spa. I enjoyed the tub. I would say 10 out of 10. Please stay here. And I spent a few weeks in Cusco. And my very first Airbnb, I stayed sort of a weekend, and that cost me $87.41. And then my second Airbnb that I Cusco, and that cost me $186 even. Yep. And then my time in Puno, which I stayed 3 nights, there cost me, and that's on Lake Titicaca, Euros Island, $136.80. And then I stayed in Cusco a little longer. So, yeah, I stayed in Cusco a little longer, and that Airbnb cost me $205.57. So my total for accommodations, all in Peru, was a little over $2,600. So to be exact, $2,658.32 exactly for accommodations. And I must say, I really and truly was shocked because I stayed in some pretty amazing places, pretty awesome places here. The next thing that I did was transportation costs. So my transportation in Cusco cost me quite a bit as well. And the bulk of that was going to be my flight from Austin, Texas to Lima. And I caught them on a really good deal because I said, if I'm going to fly that far, I'm going to enjoy business class, and I'm going to be able to lay down and sleep and enjoy all the perks that come with it, especially because I am a frequent flyer with Delta Airline. So my flight cost me round trip was a little, it was $2,672.87. So that was actually pretty a decent deal with that. And then my flight from Cusco to Lima was $87.96. My bus within Peru, so that was going from Cusco to Puno and back. So one way was $19.15, and then coming back, I took a different type of bus as well. That cost me a little bit more, which was $24.20. And then my Ubers, like throughout the city. So I was in Cusco, I was in Puno, I was in Lima. All of my Ubers, and I did a lot of Ubers, y'all. Like I went through my credit card, my Uber receipts, and I, like, just looking at them, I would say it's a long list, and I'll probably copy it and kind of paste it. That totaled $272.36. And I would say I probably took over 30 rides, just driving and riding throughout the city. And my most expensive rides were from the airport or to the airport. Anytime I went to or from the airports, they were the most expensive. And so I would say in all, and my transportation that included my flight, That was $3,076.54. I would say I could have gone cheaper with this, but again, this is sort of like my thing, and I wanted to make sure as a solo travel I was comfortable and I was still within budget, especially within the 3 months, 2.5 months, almost 3 months, which was pretty awesome for me. I would say you can do it cheaper. You can walk a little bit more. You can take buses. They have that option available, but for me, the Ubers are so cheap that I couldn't say no. And even from the airport, I think the most I spent coming out of the airport, and it was a surge, was $23. The cheapest from the airport was probably like $12. It depends on what time you come from the airport, so keep that in mind. The next thing was tours and excursions. So Machu Picchu was probably the most expensive, and I stayed in Cusco, and I did not want to handle anything. Like, when I say I didn't want to do anything, I didn't want to do anything. So I wanted to be picked up. I wanted someone to bring me around. I wanted to see one of the world wonders of the world. That was my main reason for going to Peru. And so that cost me $343.40, and that was a round trip, which I was very happy about. I had a fantastic experience. Machu Picchu was breathtaking. I thought about doing the hike, but because I was in the rainy season, or their down season, there were so many people that were like, it snowed, it rained, it was foggy. I wanted the experience, and I got lucky where it was sunny, it was beautiful. I toured with some amazing people, like some of the world's most amazing people. I loved my tour, and the people I was with. I was with another solo traveler and a couple, and we had a blast. And the family that I did it with was through Airbnb experience. And I will find it and make sure I add like their names that are listed. Please go with them. Please support them. They were absolutely amazing. When I say amazing, amazing. I love the supporting families. I love supporting amazing individuals. And when I tell you, I didn't have to worry about anything. It was well organized. They were super duper sweet. I enjoyed my stay. We had amazing food along the way, and I can't say enough about my experience from Cusco to Aguascalientes, which is where Machu Picchu is located. And it was a tough trek to get there, but I was glad that I didn't have to worry about trying to get the tickets and so on, because somebody else did it for me, and I would say it was worth every dollar. Rainbow Mountain, and this is in no particular order either. Rainbow Mountain with the ATV tour, that was $76.53, so we can round that up to 80. That included a pickup round trip. It included food. It included the ATVs. But the ATVs can only go up so far, and then if you wanted to go up the mountain, you had to pay additional money to be able to go up the mountain. That's something I really didn't care for. You can either walk it or you can take the motorcycles. But to give you a heads up, if your entire tour decides they want to use the motorcycles, then you need to use it, and then that is only cash, so you do it when you get there. And I think that was probably an extra 50 soles, and that was one way, and then coming back I think it was another 50 soles. I think it was, if I can remember, but it was pretty, I would say, expensive. And then you also within this doesn't cover it, but you have to pay like an entrance fee, which is like, I think 1 soles or 2 soles or 5 soles. But that was written in the Airbnb information. And that was good. So in all, that trip probably cost me maybe 85, maybe 90 US dollars, rounding up, and that's like a rough round up. I want to say maybe 85 US dollars it probably cost me, close to 90 in all. The next one was the Caracas tour. So that was the sand dunes, that was the wine, that was the food, Huacachina, the island, sort of the, people like to call it the low budget Galapagos Island. It was absolutely beautiful, being able to see what they like to call God's binoculars. I absolutely love the sand dunes. I love the people, especially on this trip as well, and this experience. I did this one also through Airbnb. I'm like, Airbnb experience has actually been really good to me. I love the smallness of the group, the quaintness, the level of hospitality they like to take, and love they like to take on these tours. So Airbnb experience is sort of my place to go when it comes to booking a lot of my tours, because you really get quality from them as well. And it's not, if you want like this huge big group, I've learned that I don't like huge groups. This group probably was maybe 15 people max, but it was an amazing 15 individuals. And that was probably my largest group on Airbnb experience. It wasn't overwhelming. I was able to make connections and friends, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my Caracas tour. I can't say enough about that. So that was when I was in Lima, and that was an all-day trip as well. My street food tour was a total of $50.27, which wasn't bad. It included food all day. I posted some information about, right after that tour, I got traveler's diarrhea. I do not think it was from that tour. Because I was eating and doing things, and I did not prep myself before, so I'm telling everybody to prep yourself before. Prep. That's good. And what's this one? Maca. Maca? Yeah, I don't like that. That is good. Yeah. That is really good. We're about to eat breakfast. Yum. Make sure you have your probiotics. Make sure you enjoy your trip. Make sure you have your Imodium. Make sure you are staying hydrated with your electrolytes. So, especially when you go into a country that is not of your home base, that is different, your body might react differently, and my body did. And the food, I can tell you, that was probably my best experience, like culinary experience. Peru was by far, and Lima was by far my favorite. Another one I did was live like a local experience. That was 80 US dollars. I basically wasted my money on that one. I had a good time having a conversation with the young lady, but she covered everything. Well, basically I covered everything. With the $80, it was getting snacks, it was the train ride, it was going to the different areas, it was taking little videos here and there, but I can say that it was okay. Like, it was okay. It was not what I expected. I think I was expecting a little bit more, especially when I was in Brazil, and I went to the favelas. I felt like I really experienced like where and what the locals like doing. This one was still kind of touristy, and it was just her and I, because it was super small, but at the same time I learned a lot about her. I learned so many things about the Peruvian culture, which I enjoyed, but I don't think it was worth $80 US dollars. It totally wasn't worth it. I also did a free walking tour as well. And that is tip based. So it's whatever you want to give at the end. You don't have to give anything. I did. And I did that on my very first day being in Lima. And I recommend this to anyone. If you're going to a new city, do a free walking tour. It doesn't hurt. If you don't want to tip, by all means, you don't have to. But I totally would recommend for you to give them something. And I loved it. In all, I would say my total for my excursions, totaled experiences were $654.63. Now, this doesn't include the free stuff that I did. I did quite a few things that were free. Now I can't even think about some of the free things that I did. If I remember, I'll make it a point to post them or list it here. But there are a lot of free things that you can do. Costa Verde. Oh my gosh, I remember one. Costa Verde. I absolutely love that area, the beach, going to the beach. There's so many sites that you're able to visit, historical sites that are free. They're basically, if you walk there, you can get there. You're just basically paying the Uber to get there. I've done so many of those, learned a lot, so many amazing museums. Some of the museums are free, some of them are not, or they're super cheap in cost where it doesn't matter to put it down. I would say I probably don't have a lot of pictures on that because there were some days I'm like, I'm just enjoying the moment. And then there were other days where I was like, hey, I want to sit there and enjoy food. So my food, oh, y'all, the best food. I've been to over 20 countries. And I must say, if you got the opportunity just to go to Lima, Peru, you will not be disappointed. When I say you will not be disappointed. Will not. I absolutely loved everything there. The food, chef's kiss. And so I kind of looked through my card, but I pulled out a lot of cash because some of the places only took cash. And so I paid with my card $157.92. I withdrew over $888.65 from the ATM, and I spent on food with cash a little over $1,000. So to be exact, $1,046.57 on food. And I went to some amazing places, and I would go to places over and over again. I will say that Peru, when it comes to food, I probably went out a lot more than I did go to the grocery store. My grocery store run, and I'm just guesstimating here, was probably in total maybe $150 for the entire trip, because the food is relatively inexpensive, which I do appreciate. But I enjoyed it. Peru is delicious. Oh, so delicious. I really enjoyed my time in Peru. For the time that I spent in Peru was a little over $7,000, close to $7,500. So that was $7,436.06. And that was a total of like 2.5 months. Y'all, that's actually really great in my books. Could I have done it for cheaper? Absolutely. Did I do it in my level of comfort? Yes, I did. I would say my biggest expense was probably staying at the Sheraton Hotel. And the only reason why I stayed at the Sheraton was because I was trying to follow my points. And I wanted points with the Bonvoy Marriott brand. And I was looking to get to the next status. And it worked in my favor because staying at a hotel or Bonvoy hotel now, I get a lot more perks. going to the hotel. That means I get upgrades. If they have a lounge, I get that. I get free breakfast. So in my book, it is worth it. Others might be on a different budget. This might be a little bit more expensive for them, but for me, it was something that I could afford, and I wanted to do it. And this trip, again, as I specified in my tip of the day, it is up to you and based off of what is perfect for your wallets. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit and listen to me as I talk about the cost of Peru. What is your biggest expense when you travel? And do you think you could do go cheaper for Peru? Or have you done more expensive, more money? I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your thoughts are, what you enjoy. What have you enjoyed? If you're planning to go to Peru, you need assistance, hit me up. I'm also a travel agent, just giving you a heads up there. I am more than happy then to assist you in booking the trip that you want to enjoy. Not the one that I want to enjoy, but you want to enjoy. Until next time, thank you for listening to me. I really enjoyed my conversation with all of y'all and sharing these. If you like these type of videos, what will help me is by clicking that like, subscribe, and commenting button. Share with your friends. And I want to hear from you. Email me, DM me, follow me on social, and I am more than happy then to respond and give you advice on the next trip that I might take. Until next time, thank you for spending time with Life with Retta.